Production. Let's talk about Ramona Singer. So Ramona Singer did an interview with Carlos King on his podcast, and she talked about all the things that transpired that led up to RHONY being what RHONY is today, a reboot. We talked about the reboot, talked about each of the ladies yesterday. If you missed that video, be sure to check that out. Ramona pretty much confirmed what I've been saying about why we got a RHONY reboot and a RHONY legacy. First of all, let's take a listen to what she says about the legacy. I thought this was funny, and this is why Ramona is Ramona, okay? This is what she said about the legacy and how she feels about legacy, because she's not a part of it as of yet. During the weekend of BravoCon, Andy did say that his focus right now was just the RHONY reboot. And now that RHONY reboot is cast, now they can focus on legacy. But Ramona can't help herself but spill some tea.
But I also feel like the legacy, like how can it be really good? The people who they're going to bring back are people they didn't want to renew anyway. So now, so what are you going to call it? The loser show? The loser legacy?
Ramona. The loser show? I mean, she has a point, but I've been telling you guys, if you're new to the channel, I've been telling you countless times that the reason why we got a RHONY reboot, Bravo, NBC Universal has been afraid to make a big change like this, a part of their Real Housewives franchise, because it's very hard to cast a whole new group of women in a city where people already love the women that were there. But they did it because of the problematic reaction. Well, first of all, problematic comments from Ramona and the audience's visceral reaction to Ramona's anti-Semitic and anti-Black moments during this last season. And look, I've said this before and I'll say it again. Season 13, I probably will never rewatch. I didn't like it. I didn't enjoy it. However, did that fall solely on Eboni K. Williams? No. Come on now. One woman took down this entire city? No. And Ramona talks about Eboni K in this interview as well. Let's do that before I share my opinion, because I want you guys to hear. This is quite a this is our BravoCon aftermath, and this is all related because Ramona and Ebony were both at BravoCon. I didn't run into them. A few people ran into Ramona though. I find out a lot of stuff, and it's not who you think that's telling me stuff either. Just saying. Okay. All right. Are we ready? Let me play it again. Let me play it. You guys couldn't hear it because I had this situation muted, but let me play it from the top. This is from Carlos King's podcast where he had Ramona Singer as the guest, and she's talking about Eboni K. Williams and what happened at the end of the RHONY that we knew it before this reboot. All right. Let's get into what Ramona said to Carlos King, and this is like over 5 minutes, y'all. So feel free to grab a snack. Okay.
Do you think Ebony is responsible for the show not being renewed in its origin and having to be this split in terms of legacy, RHONY, and a new diverse cast?
I don't think you can blame a person. I think you can just blame Bravo. Bravo made that decision. I don't think it's a good decision, to tell you the truth. I mean, I don't read Instagram a lot. People are like, oh, why are you having two shows? That's like ridiculous, you know? I think it's ridiculous, but that's my opinion, you know? I mean, Bravo's been very good to me. I got paid very well. It opened up a lot of doors for me, but I still don't think it was a good decision.
Where were you when you found out that the show was being split into two?
I was in Aspen skiing because ahead of time, we had a producer and she was like shocked. She goes, wait, they were waiting for things to die down and before they were going to start filming. Because just so you know, we were supposed to start filming in September 2020, right after she was going to be renewed and everything until she made some accusations that weren't true about me. We were all set to go.
What did she say that wasn't true about you?
She went to Human Resources, which was really hurtful to me. And plus it was not true. It was founded untrue that I was a racist. And I'm a lot of things. You can call me unfiltered, not polite, always in a rush. I forget people's names. You know, yes, I'm all of those. But one thing I'm not a racist. And the press picked that up and they had a field day. And that's one thing. That's the only negative I don't like about the show is what the press writes. Because they'll take a small narrative and just inflate it and make up things. I mean, I actually went to a lawyer to say, could I sue the Post? you know? It's just very hurtful. And everything was unfounded. But because of that, we didn't do a reunion, which I didn't know initially. And people were like, oh, well, they're not doing the reunion because Ramona refuses to do it. And I'm like, no, this is my job, my position. I always fulfill my position job, and I'm not afraid to do anything. And she's afraid to face Ebony. No, that's not true at all. So that already started it. And I didn't know that. And because of that, we did not film the reunion. And because of that, our show didn't film in September because Andy told me himself, because we have a good relationship. He said, you know, Ramona, we normally don't start doing the next season until after the reunion airs, but we're going to start after we tape the reunion, and then we're going to start filming. So we all would have had positions, even Ebony, all of us, because of what went down, it didn't. And everything she found was untrue and unfounded. And I can't share some of the things I found, but they were like almost made up fabrications, which is even more hurtful.
Is that the reason why? Because when she was on my podcast, I brought this name up. I want to be very clear that it was me. I asked her, was she blackballed from the cast because there was stuff in the post and in the press that detailed the cast wasn't, they were shunning themselves away from her, like distancing themselves away from her. And I did ask her, like, did you feel like you were blackballed from the cast? And she said, I'm not going to use the word blackball. If you're asking me if the cast and I weren't together and I felt distant, then yes. Was this ongoing investigation the reason why you and maybe the other cast members just weren't around her as much?
Well, no, what happened was, if you see the last episode, we really came together as a team, as a cast. And I really wish it happened earlier, where Ebony finally loosened up. We felt more comfortable around her. We weren't on pins and needles. And it was fabulous. We all left on a fabulous note. But then, again, she likes to write things in the press, and the PR department couldn't control her. She would say things and give interviews that she shouldn't have given. And she'd say things she shouldn't have said that, really were hurtful, not really truthful. It was her viewpoint. But it made us feel not good because, we're a team. Like, you and I can fight on the show, but I'm not going to say something shitty about you to the press once the show's over. Like, why? What's the point of that? So I think what she said something about that we didn't, and I called her on, and I had dinner with her, that we dehumanized her. She felt less than human because we were more sympathetic to Leah losing her grandmother than her losing her grandmother. And I'm like, when I went out with her, we went to dinner, I go, but you didn't talk about her. Leah was constantly crying about her grandmother, telling us left and right, you're our new friend. We're not going to be intrusive. We're trying to be polite. You didn't divulge how upset you were. Yet she turned it around and made us all look, I think, really bad. It really hurt my feelings terribly. And I said, promise me, if you ever have a problem, come to me directly. Let's talk it out. Don't go to the press to say things that you haven't even talked through us. She goes, well, I'd watch the show and I see things and they get me upset. I said, then pick up the phone. So she would run to the press. And that was just upsetting to all of us.
Where does your relationship stand now with Ebony?
Well, I called her again recently. She was avoiding my call for a month or two. And I said, I don't understand why you report me to Human Resources as a racist. You know I'm not. I'm a lot of things, but I'm not that. And I don't understand why you would say that. And she goes, well, because, Dave from People told me A, B, C, and D. Well, I know Dave never said that. Plus, I knew for a fact other things that she said that came back to me from head people at Bravo, which they said, I don't know where she got this information. She's making it up. We never said that. So she was found wrong on a lot of accounts on her accusations. They were complete non-truths that maybe she thought were true in her mind. I'm not going to say she lied. Maybe in her mind, she thought they were true. Or maybe somebody else told her. It was hearsay. And hearsay is like what they call that telephone game, So I called her up and she said, that's the only thing I said. And, and only, this is the craziest thing, okay? So when I was getting investigated, the lawyers are calling me up and I had no idea this was going on. And I'm in Aspen and I rented a place there for the month. And they're saying, well, you have these allegations. And I said, you know what? I'm not going to be threatened and I'm not going to be intimidated by this because you could be. I'm just going to be Ramona and just be totally calm and not answer yes or no and make it like a conversation. And I said, well, I'm really shocked that she made these accusations against me because I have a video of her on my phone saying, Ramona, I saw you watch That Happens. You're so girl. And sister, you and I have the same taste. See that outfit you got from Camilla with love? I got the same one. And my mama, she loves you. She thinks you're the best thing. And they go, their mouths drop. They go, when did you get this? I go, August something. It was like after, I guess, she made even the accusations. And I sent them the video. They were shocked. So she's acting like she's my best friend and she loves me, but yet she's accusing me of horrendous things that could ruin my career, actually, because that's a horrible thing. I mean, actually, some things I was hurt career-wise because of her accusations.
You were?
Yeah, financially.
Like endorsements?
Yes. They go, we know she's not, but, we can't go there right now. So yeah, I lost a lot of money because of Ebony.
Okay, let's unpack this. So that was Ramona talking about Ramona Singer from the Real Housewives formerly of the Real Housewives of New York, on Carlos King's latest episode of his podcast, Reality with the King. Carlos, you're welcome. Okay, but remember, I've been telling you, if you've been following the channel for a while, I've been telling you this whole interview that Andy did with Variety announcing the RHONY reboot and RHONY legacy. I said, this is just a cover-up. This is a cover-up. At BravoCon Aftermath, welcome. At BravoCon, Andy was asked about why, they decided not to move forward with a reunion for season 13. He said the reason why they didn't was because of scheduling, and also because the ratings were very low for that season, so it wasn't worth it for them to film a reunion. It was already a couple of months later. Sounds good, right? The executive producer, I attended that panel as well, said the same exact thing. They're all on the same page. Of course. All on the same page. But not Ramona. Ramona just confirmed what I've been telling you guys for the longest. They were set to return. All of them were set to return. But because of this investigation, this is part of the reason why they were like, all right, according to Ramona, it was unfounded. However, she lost her job. This is Hollywood, though. This is Hollywood. She's not going to lose her job in the same way that you or I would lose our jobs in corporate America or whatever job. Okay, where you're fired. She's not a part of a legacy. And I know a lot of you like, no, she's not a part of legacy. She confirmed that in this. She's not a part of it. She says it's the people they didn't want to hire back. I know none of us are, I know Bravo and NBC wants to think that we're dumb, but we're not dumb. And Ramona, we're also not dumb because people have talked about you from behind the scenes for years of how, even over BravoCon weekend, people were saying things for years. And okay, she'll say, yeah, I have my ways about me, but I'm not racist. Well, I'm just waiting for those stories to come out next. And I see all the questions that you guys are having in the comment section are saying, why would Ebony lie on you? Why would Ebony take this to human resources and lie on you? I'm waiting for Ebony's response because Ebony will respond. And rightfully so, because the way that Ramona is painting her in this podcast as someone that is feeding this sort of information and making that's a big accusation to make about someone. That is a big accusation because, like Ramona says, you can lose jobs. It can ruin your reputation. That's a big accusation. And I don't know Ebony from a hole in the wall. However, I don't think that she would do that. And this whole video that she had sent or showed the producers, who knows when that was recorded? Or who knows the context of that? And I don't believe the producers are like, oh my God. No. Sidebar, did you guys notice the black scent? When she was talking with All right, we'll move on. The thing that stood out to me, though, it confirmed what I've been telling you guys about this RHONY reboot and why it happened and why we're getting RHONY Legacy and why exactly Countess Luann and Sonia got their own spinoff. They're doing what they did with Kim Zolciak, according to Nene Leakes. Oh, bravo. Oh, y'all thought because I was there, Bravo would get into my brain. This is why I keep my distance. I'm backstage. I'm like, hey, how you doing?